Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. I got bad hair, so we're just going to put a cap on. That's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Welcome. Christian McLeod couldn't be on the show tonight because there's a big storm where he lives, so he is a little bit busy. Can't get on with no power. So Nicole Sakach from the Weird Desk is hopping on in, and we have to say hello to each and every one of you. Why? Because this is what we do. Eternity Eternal in the gold medal position. Tim Mothman and his goatee with a silver. Necessary Dialogue with a bronze medal tonight. Morwick, Govbuster, and Kitty Caddywhack. Nice to have you here as we continue on with our roll call. Edwin Guerra is here. Edwin will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Paramarv, nice to see you. Dennis Benke, thanks for coming on in as we continue on with our roll call tonight. We have Definitely Not Null. How you doing? No, Dave does not have Discord. Dave will never have Discord. Dave hates Discord. So there will be no Discord for Spaced Out Radio, unfortunately. In the studio, how are you? Trucker Andrew, nice to see you. As we scroll on down on our roll call to say hello to Road Flare and Lisa Smith. Thank you guys for coming on in. Mel WD40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because Nicole Sakach will not step into the Weird Desk unless she is lubed up. And, well, Mel's doing a great job as we speak. Don't forget to give yourself a little shot there, Mel. We'd appreciate it. T-Bone, my man, how are you? Michael Morris, the attorney at large, thanks for coming on in. As we continue on with our roll call, Race Fan, nice to see you. Frankie B, thanks for coming on in. And Thunderhead, good to see you as well. Shane Gord, Missouri Man, and Integrationing, thank you for joining us tonight. Kathy Evans, how are you? As we scroll on down to say hello to JSCO, nice to have you here. And moving on down. And we got Baba Yaga. How are you? Nice to have you back for a second time. Ozzy Boss Tiger, nice to see you. Flubber Lane, how are you? Chameleon will be signing autographs for the first time tonight. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Be gentle. Chameleon's first time. You never want it to be overwhelming. So be gentle with the autographs. Canna Chef Chris, how are you? Number 37 in your program tonight, starting in goal from Stockholm, Sweden. Lars Jansson, there he is. Moving on down, Jaquetta, nice to see you. And who else is next on our list? Stargazer, how's your gout tonight? How's your G? Let us know. I'm doing good. I'm great. My body feels great. I took a gummy after the show last night, and man, was I asleep in no time. Feel good today. Very good. All right, super crazy. How you doing? Kurt M. Walter Kochabinski, nice to have you both here. Stargazer and his gout. Maybe we'll call you Gout Gazer. Gout Gazer is here. Claudette, how you doing? Oh, I kill myself sometimes Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Nicole Sakach from the Weird Desk is here to talk about UFOs and disclosure. We're going to have a great show tonight, so just get ready. Just get ready. Honest content, Pam Harris and Tyler 420. How you doing? Jessica S. How are you? Gaspiracy, nice to see you. And we scroll on down. And who do we have here? Pam Harris. We got like 20 seconds. Alien Critter, how are you? Undead Jed, Louise, nice to have you all here. Jerence Carter, everybody. Jerence Carter. Sunny Sandu, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you. Oob to Joe's Main, you've got aliens. Scorber, Mark Wolf, nice to have you here. T-Bone, thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. For everybody else, throw those horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin walls. We're together. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out the Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. We want to see you right here in the heart of British Columbia, September 18th through 20th for Caribou Con. Go to cariboucon.com to get your tickets today. We are going to get into disclosure, UFOs, the movement. Is it really going anywhere? From the Weird Desk, Nicole Sakach is here tonight to talk about it. In hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another spooky story. We'll follow that up with Robin Haynes, who will bring some woo for the Cryptid Q&A. So let's get right to it. It's going to be a fast-paced show. Nicole Sakach is an independent UFO researcher, author, and commentator whose work explores the intersection of unidentified aerial phenomena, consciousness, high strangeness, and the evolving discourse of UFOs. Drawing on years of research and her own experiences with the phenomena, Nicole has learned and earned a reputation of connecting historical cases, government programs, witness testimony, and emerging developments to a broader understanding of the UFO mystery. She is also the co-author of Triangles, Aliens, and Messages with Grant Cameron, examining recurring patterns of contact experiences and the deeper implications of the phenomena. Nicole is known for her thoughtful, evidence-based approach to some of ufology's most challenging questions. Her discussions often cover UFO disclosure, whistleblowers, experiencer accounts, government secrecy, and the relationship between consciousness and the phenomena. Let's bring her on in. Nicole Sakach, it is always a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio tonight. How are you?
Dave, it's been a long time since I've been nervous coming on, but you just gave me like the intro to all intros right there, and I got a little nervous in the middle.
It was the intro of a lifetime right there. An intro of a lifetime.
I liked it.
It's good to have
it to my resume.
I wrote that myself.
Glad to fill in.
I wrote that myself.
I'm a commentator now.
Yeah, that's That's the way we do it around here in the British Columbia Shire of 108 Mile Ranch.
Just to cook, Dave. Just to cook. I have to stay true to my roots. Just to cook.
I
But
get it.
yes, I know.
I totally get it.
Hey, I've been listening to you on with Walter like 4 nights a week now. Like what?
5 nights a week with Walter M. Sterling on WABC in New York. Yes.
WABC. I love it. I
As
grew
soon
up.
as I finish this show, I jump on with Walter for about 10, 15 minutes to talk all things UFOs, and it's really good. It's fun.
It is. I catch it here and it's really awesome. And they like love you. Like they talk, I think you're getting talked about on like his show afterwards. Like I know you don't always stay up and listen because it's so late, but you know, his show goes on for at least till dawn. And we listen to it sometimes around here. So we get to hear the blab of like the fallout after what you said because he takes callers and stuff. It's fun.
You know what's weird? Because of Canadian internet, I cannot hear it.
Boo. So I got to bootleg you an American radio show. Is that what you're saying? Like send it to you parcel by parcel?
You totally do. I need to have it bootleg so that way I can hear it.
I mean, I don't know how you got that Steven Spielberg movie. Did you finally get to see it?
No, I haven't. I have a one theater movie theater in my town. And I think they're playing He-Man right now. So I haven't even got to see Disclosure Day yet. But, you know, the one thing that I love about Steven Spielberg's movies when it comes to this phenomena is I don't know who's doing his research, whether it's him or he has a team, but a lot of it is always so accurate. I mean, going back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind and to E.T. and to Taken and all of this portion of this, it often makes me wonder if he's an experiencer and been taken himself.
We've heard that. And his mom gave an interview for whatever reason. And she tells this story about Stephen being scared about something, like little kids get scared, and talked about a scenario that he later used, I think, in E.T. with E.T.'s head sticking out of like the stuffed animals. She said that was like a direct reference to like one of his own childhood experiences. And I have heard people spin and make speculation off of that, but I think it was just his mom telling a story. And then you flash forward to him as an adult, and he does talk about his own interests and things from his childhood that inspired him, and how he was interested enough to, of course, track down Hynek, who he had read Hynek's books. And, you know, he was a student of the community, I guess you could say, because of his interest. And yeah, so we know how that falls out. Hynek was in it. Valet still brags about being in it to this day. And now we get this wild speculation every time he makes a movie, which is awesome. I love that he gives our community attention, but I think it shows his own personal interest and his diligence in his own personal storytelling. So I think it's awesome. I love it. I like the movie, but it did create that disclosure delusion of, is there somebody giving him insider information? Like, I think we even heard at one point David Grush was on his set, you know, like we were hearing wild things. So, were they mixing up Disclosure Day and Age of Disclosure, which was, I think, under Spielberg's umbrella of Amblin, maybe, but not, you know, another Spielberg. But I got to remind myself sometimes that I think, and maybe the audience can fact check me on this, I think Steven Spielberg supported the cartoon pinky in the brain. So, I mean, was that government influenced as well, like lab rats from an insider or whatever it is? So, I mean, that's just my funny way of saying let's not get beyond what our lane in life actually is. Like, he's a filmmaker, he's not bringing alien disclosure to the world. So,
Let's move
what?
over to this side of disclosure, because
Mhm.
now the big rumor is there's going to be a speech once again by the president, Donald Trump, regarding crash retrievals, possible non human intelligence, that we are not alone. It is said that it may happen within this week. It may happen next week. It could happen, but apparently it is happening. I mean, the rumor mill is rampant right now with everything. And you know, it takes somebody who doesn't give a care about anything to actually do something like that. And I could see him doing it, whether it comes out or not. That's a different thing. But what do you think about this latest rumor once again popping up?
Did it start on X? Because I'm not on X. So if it originated there. Um, it hasn't made it to me yet until just now. So, um, this is, I don't know. We've been hearing this Trump is going to make some sort of like formal statement, not this like what he did with Obama's comment earlier, but like make this speech. Like we heard that was tied to a Bigelow insider, and then Bigelow denied knowing this person. You know, we heard a lot of rumors. And then we also hear that certain people are close to Trump and that they might have his ear, and that seems to not pan out either. But I'm gonna go with we have to wait and see on that, like all the other times before. And if it pans out, it pans out. But
We have so many insiders saying that disclosure will never happen. And yet there are these UFO talking heads out there who say it's imminent, it's about to happen, whether that's the conspiracy club led by Anna Paulina Luna, whether that's Lou Elizondo, whether that's reporters like George Knapp or Ross Coulthard. I mean, where is the truth in the middle of all this? Because I think they keep having people sitting around scratching their heads, wondering, is this going to happen or is it not going to happen? What are you hearing?
well, especially it's been intensified, I think, over the last 2 weeks, maybe. But I think there is obviously disclosure is meaning different things to different factions or groups of people that are pushing collectively, I guess, for disclosure. But that's what's difficult. You ask every other person, and they have a different answer for you with the direction this is going. So, is it that moment on a podium with Trump? Like this full, like we've been hearing controlled disclosure, like how this could parcel out. Well, then we're also hearing like the hearings, obviously, the unprecedented hearings. And that was supposed to bring a certain amount of disclosure and more whistleblowers, which all these things seem to stack up, but they're still not giving us that ultimate moment. So, but then you ask individually these whistleblowers, like what their disclosure is, and that's all different. And then it seems like Burleson, Luna, and Burchett and Bobert might all be on the same page, but then after like the big MJ, sorry, not MJ12, we're not there yet, but the MK Ultra hearings just got released in their entirety, and they were from the 30th, I believe, June 30th, and we had seen snippets and clips from it leading up to this full release. I think PBS put it out finally. if you missed it in its entirety. It's only like an hour and a half long. But so now there's also this, which we're hearing from some of our whistleblowers, that there's this legacy program within, the government, and it's stonewalling or hiding the legacy program. And everybody points to the CIA as being this umbrella of the bad guys, I guess, or the consistent bad guys in this. Even in the book Imminent, it's like the CIA. It's always the CIA. So now we have like this double layer of, is disclosure, because we had our UFO players in there along with this MK Ultra hearing. It's the same people pushing for this transparency. Well, behind the scenes, we're hearing this overlap of MK Ultra could play into like our current whistleblowers and why some of them won't come forward. And it's just making this it's like, it's too much conspiracy, even for a conspiracy theorist. Like it's always that and or yeah, but to make this sort of happen. And I don't know. So is our disclosure for UFO transparency, is that really down the MK Ultra rabbit hole? Is that where it's lying? Because that's not even just MK Ultra anymore. They're saying that could have continued, and it's not just that. It could be like the Manchurian Candidate, like Lorian was saying the other night. Your guest, was that just last night? I get my
That was
mileage.
just last night. Yes.
Right. I think I fell asleep listening to you guys. I was all excited and then I had to crash. But Lorian touched on some of this as well. And I don't know. It's ultra conspiratorial. And it's just, if the DOJ couldn't do their job with that, are they going to do their job now with investigating what they need to investigate? And it's murky. Anytime we're talking like years of victims, and then that swings me around to, is this all just a distraction from like releasing the Epstein files? Because people keep saying that too. And every time Trump is supposed to say something about UFOs, that's to rile it up, to distract from Epstein. So is it really that?
I don't think it's that. I think they can handle more than one conspiracy at a time. Nicole, I'm going to get you to move just a little bit closer to your microphone, if you don't mind, because
I'll bring it in.
thank you. In regards to our guest tonight, Nicole Sakach from the Weird Desk, based out of Illinois, hanging on out with us tonight on Spaced Out Radio. In regards to the disclosure movement and the way it is going, there's a lot of hype going on. There is the hype about Tranche 1, hype about Tranche 2. People aren't going to believe what comes out in Tranche 3, which was an absolute joke of a tranche where there was so much wrong with it. I mean, for every half a piece of information that you got, there was about 50 other pieces of absolute trash in there. Let's just be honest. And we hear nothing about a Tranche 4. Absolutely nothing. I mean, are we being played? Is this the start of something, Nicole, that maybe it's the beginning of the end?
Full transparency and honesty, I didn't even look at the third one. I was so disappointed by what I looked through with the first and the second, that after I heard about the third one, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait till more people I trust and converse with talk more about this. And it's just like, it's crickets. Like nobody really cares about this third one. And then there's some I guess back talk around this speculation of if there's going to be more. And if there's a fourth, is it going to be what Luna demanded? I thought she had something like 45 or something videos that kicked all of this off that she wanted absolutely released. So I don't know if it's that, which also brings up, like, me personally, I say when I'm talking about that, I always bring up, well, what about the rest of the gimbal, go fast, and tic tac? Like, we only saw limited, like little clips of those, and we've always heard that there's more to those. We've seen the pictures of the DVDs that got walked out, and handed off in the bag. And we all know how you write in writable DVDs. Well, at least those of us of a certain age and generation, we know how those writable discs are. Like, you can load a lot of information on one of those discs. So where's the rest of gimbal? Like, they talk about a whole, look, dude, whoa, there's a whole fleet of them. Look at them. Wow. Like, let's see that. Like, I'm all for that. Let's see that. Explain 12 gimbals in unison. Like, I don't know. Like, that would be cool. So there's speculation of what the fourth could be. But then there's also that now that we have our White House counsel, which doesn't actually report to the executive branch, just a caveat with that, in case you don't realize that. We have Avi Loeb's White House counsel that doesn't directly report to the White House, but they do report to O&I and Arrow, which I love, because you know me, I'm the one person on the planet that actually loves Arrow. I love my taxpayer money funding Arrow. I think they're doing a great job. So I have heard that now that we have the White House counsel and Pursue, where you can report in this, that any new releases will go through the White House counsel for review, because they will get all the unclassified reportable bits, and that will be the filter from the inside to the outside for us. They're our go-between now. And I guess that's because everybody hates Arrow.
This is true. This is true. But here's the other thing is we got about 90 seconds to go, Nicole, before we go to break. At the bottom of the hour, Nicole Sakach is our guest. People are getting frustrated. I'm even reading comments in our chat room right now from people who are saying, they're done with this. They're done with the whole charade of it all because we're getting nothing. People want the evidence. They want to know what's going on. And all we're getting is they're telling us we're getting cold popsicles on a hot day, and they're just throwing us the sticks.
Oh my God. I'm going to quote a friend of mine, and I hope he doesn't care because it's in one of those private groups. And I'm not going to tell you the friend, but he said this. He said, I'm sharing my response to a friend about some typical absurdity. Ufology now feels to me like driving by my old house and finding it in an abandoned wreck inhabited by vagrant crackheads. So is that how ufology feels to you right now?
But it is a good analogy in the fact that, people are getting fed up. And you know what? To me, that sense and that notion that people are getting fed up, Nicole, is very much in the play of the government hands. Why wouldn't they want people fed up? They don't want people talking about this. They don't want people searching for disclosure. They're tired of this being on the front pages of newspapers and of television shows. And I'm going to get you to hold on. I want you to respond to that when we return on Spaced Out Radio, because people are getting tired of it. And even us radio hosts, we're getting tired of talking about nothing. But we have to talk about it because as long as it's in the news and as long as it's in the forefront for what we do, UFOs are the big deal. But are they a big deal towards disclosure? That is the big question right there. My name is Dave Scott. Nicole Sakach is our guest, and this is Spaced Out Radio. All right. We are clear. First contact, how you doing? And who else have I missed here? The Friar Eli, what's happening? Andrew B. Give me 2 seconds, Nicole. Bounty Hunter, how are you? Moodance Mongol. Moodance. Eva, how are you? Flat 6, nice to see you. Mectron, welcome to SOR chat. Wilford Brimley, how's the diabetes tonight? Give us an update.
Oh,
Hey, do you have a headphone set? Fat
I
Nuts, how are
can
you?
steal my kids, I think.
Because you're very quiet.
I thought you were very quiet, and then that fixed for me, but let's try something else.
All right. Stu
Hang
effing
on.
Gerson, how you doing? The stew is here. Raw is stewage right there. Dave doesn't have gout, Stargazer. You're the one with the G. Whistling Mike, how are you, buddy? It's been a couple of weeks. Nice to have you back here, brother. Eating grape nuts. Nice. You never go wrong with a little grape nuts. I'm a big Stu Gerson fan. Big time Stu Gerson fan. Dave is louder than Nicole. That's why we're trying to fix the audio. Her computer is not working. What's that? Speak.
Does that help at all?
Let me see here. Edit mic settings. Let's reduce background noise.
Maybe.
Talk for me.
Hi, Dave. How are you tonight?
No, we're getting clipping when that happens.
Okay.
Stop that.
Did the clipping go away?
Not really.
Are you? Oh, I think you're hearing crickets. Are you picking up the crickets in my background? Because I can't.
No,
stop
no, I could hear it. I could hear it in your voice. There's a little bit of clipping going on. Let's see here. What can we do? I've got you like totally. I've totally got you like pumped up as loud as I could take you here. Talk again.
I'm here. Let me try to switch devices real quick.
Hold on. Talk again. We were almost there.
Were we there?
We're there.
We're there. Are you sure?
There we go. There we go.
I maybe just need to move from the porch to further into my she shed. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. If I need to close my windows so you can't hear crickets, I can do that too.
Okay, talk again.
Hello, Dave. Are you still there? How is it?
You look like you're in a hotel room.
That's just because I have these crazy big windows on my back porch.
Nice. Pre-blown, how are you?
They kind of are like hotel windows.
That does look awesome. All right, we got about a minute here.
Can you still hear me?
Yep, we're good.
If it sucks, I'll just switch to another device. We'll get it working.
Again?
Hi. Is it working?
Yeah, we're good.
Dave's my #1 fan.
I am.
Gotta get a drink now. I gotta reload.
All right, we're coming back in like 30 seconds.
I'm here. 30 seconds.
Thank you to T-Bone for our lone super chat of the night. T-Bone, that's why you're number one, buddy. Number one. Right there. Give us a thumbs up if you haven't already, because we deserve it. We do. Here we go, everybody. All right, here is the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. From the Weird Desk, we have Nicole Sakach. We're talking disclosure, UFOs, and everything in between. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Man, I don't know where my brain went there. It disappeared, but it's back. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Man, it was like I got frozen in time there for a second. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. I think I got abducted there for a second. And on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. I swear to God, it felt like I got abducted there for a second. Like literally, I that was like a 4-second out of body experience. I literally forgot everything. And it was like I wasn't even here. Wow.
I am hearing better than I see tonight. And I thought you paused. So.
No.
That's just funny.
That was trippy.
Maybe I had an owl over my house earlier. I was sitting with my neighbor across the street from me, and we watched it swoop in and just post up over my house. And then you called or messaged and was like, "Can you come on Spaced Out Radio?" And I was like, "Oh, we got owls and aliens tonight, I think."
Love it. Maybe Carl is coming back.
I don't know. I kind of thought with my window earlier, I was like, maybe I'll have a peekaboo alien moment. Like, who's that one that he's like, "Hello guys," like in the window. That was a Canadian one, wasn't it?
That was Stan Romanek.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. It was. But he had the peekaboo, and then he had the one that was like, me.
Yeah, looking around in his house in the corner. Right? Yes.
Yeah, that's the one that actually didn't he jump back and scream, like he was trying to record it and it did that thing and it he freaked out on that, ran through his own house, he didn't, I don't know. That was so convincing to me that was a real moment.
Me too. I look forward to Carl coming to my window and scaring the daylights out of me again.
Well, it always does. That first nanosecond, even if you're hoping for it or anticipating, that first nanosecond gets you the fear. And that's what you're like, I got to work through this. And yeah. Or maybe that's just me with some of my experiences. But
man,
what were we talking about before the break?
We were talking about how people are getting frustrated by the lack of transparency, all of the big tough talk that we hear going on. You know, Tim Burchett giving his famous dang gummits, regarding this subject. And look, I think the politicians are trying their best. I really do. Okay, for what they are getting, but in the end, this subject is so much bigger than what we are seeing right now. I just don't know how it comes about. I don't know if it's possible. And I think people, Nicole, are getting tired of all the hype, these WWE type of promos before a pathetic wrestling match. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's literally what it's like.
Oh, I honestly, I keep expecting El Ovni Volador to like start making disclosure drops or something. Like, all right, everybody, here's this week's disclosure. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. I feel it though. And yes, whether it's Corbell like weaponizing us, like that sort of energy that he was bringing, like, I don't know. I don't know if you know any of like workout gurus or like, how can you just maintain that level of, like for this long? Like, we are all realizing that our disclosure is approaching the 10-year mark. And I think that what is really weighing on everybody. They're like, what the heck? We just went from 2017 and to the Stars Academy to what we're in now. And we're all a little traumatized by that 10 years and letting that soak in. So right now it's just like, what did we expect ufology to be or UFO disclosure to be? Because it's definitely not what that was 9 years ago. That's not what this isn't what we were thinking. So I don't know.
How has disclosure changed since you started researching? I've never asked you that
You
question.
got a little choppy there, but I think we'll re-ask it again.
How has disclosure changed since you started in ufology?
Oh, well, like when like in the 90s, or you mean like when I started doing like this stuff with you or books with Grant, like what?
Just when you started in general,
Facebook.
when the conversation of disclosure first started coming up. I mean, we look at it now,
Well,
Nicole, and it's become a marketing scheme. It's become a business.
I think back then, can you hear me? Okay. I think
Yep.
we might have got a little choppy, but I think back then in the 90s, especially the later 90s, and working up to the citizens disclosure, I think people saw more of a unified field when they saw all these various researchers also in DC with the various whistleblowers or witnesses. Like we weren't calling them whistleblowers back then. That's still debatable right now, or highly debatable right now. But I think there was that it was still more focused on, can we get Roswell truth? Because that seemed like the best legitimate nuts and bolts case. But then it was also, can we get this truth of the phenomenon? Like, we still need to explore this mystery. And now that disclosure sort of seems all insider whistleblower driven now, instead of for the phenomenon as a whole or answers for these individuals over decades. And I don't know, we talked about it years ago that it seemed weird that they're trying to force push everything from like 2004 and earlier. They were trying to just get us to focus on like Nimitz to now, the present. And now all of a sudden, disclosure is this huge reach back, like, give us the stuff from the 50s. Here's this tranche of information, 1, 2, 3. And they're outsourcing all of it. I think that's what I wanted to say to the last answer is they're outsourcing all of ufology now to us instead of giving us any answers from the inside. They're like, well, this is what we got, and we don't know what it is. Have fun. So if that's really what it is, like what is next? Is it more stuff that they're not gonna go, put any weight behind? or give us any conclusions, because I don't think they're going to tell us when we spot the next super stealth whatever, you know. They're still not going to give us that stuff, or if it's the coolest satellite or Space Force toys or whatever we're going to call them. So it just makes our field of what is a UFO that much smaller. We already debate UAPs man-made or they're suspected man-made, you know, that sort of variation. And I don't know. It's too murky. And with the hype, like you said, who's hype? Who's rolling out of thunder? Did we expect disclosure to be a 10-part disclosure of 5 different people not being on the same page? Is it a push for whistleblower protections? Is that the push? Is it really in a legacy program and getting them to cough up, you know, the pieces or parts that they may or may not have? Or is it in the overclassification of all of this, and it could just be cleared up if there could be some interdepartment sharing and, you know, heads up on what it is? I don't know what the answer is, but or is it a spiritual thing? You know, which our government's never going to disclose, even if they have studied aspects of spiritual things or brought in spiritualists or occultists or whatever it is. Like, they were talking about some crazy stuff in the MK Ultra hearings. Like, it was great. But it was also like, what? We're bringing up Charles Manson. We're bringing up, I don't know. I heard a new one, MK Nino or Nina, something. I had to take notes. I was like, oh, I got to consult with the experts on this. But then 2 of those experts were on the actual panel in the hearing. And I was like, all right, I like their work. Like, so that was cool. But then what is it with hearings and panels? It's like 2 of these 3 people made sense as to why they would be in this hearing together. And then one was like, who the heck's this lady? And that was much like how I see our whistleblowers presented in these hearings. It's like, why are they sticking these 5 together when it should be these 2 and that one? And, you know, it's just strange. And then that first one, we were all like, poor Grush just got hung out there all by himself. And, you know, it seemed at the time like nobody was really unified with him. It's just odd. So I don't know. What is disclosure, Dave? How's it changed for you since from the 90s?
I would say that with the advancement of ufology, and I don't mean that as a cheap shot to the UAP crowd, but I really do believe that with the advancement of ufology and the way that it became from the experience and trying to figure out the personal deliverance of this topic to becoming a nuts and bolts factory and really taking a different, more passive aggressive look at the subject, I think it's benefited, but I think it pushed disclosure a lot more forward, but only forward to the fact that people got on board. The public, you know, thanks to UFO Twitter, whether you love it or hate it, and it's turned into an unfortunate media cesspool in that area. But I think that it has really pushed the advancement of disclosure forward to the point where we are getting closer. We're getting to a point now where I think outside of the scientific community, people from Anna Paulina Luna on down are starting to take a dip into the experiencer pool. They seem to want to know. I mean, we heard which politician was it just a couple weeks ago during the disclosure forum mentioned that it was, you know, what about the experiencers? Why are we not talking to the experiencers? These people have firsthand knowledge. And I think if we continue down that road, it's going to move the ball forward. But as I've said in the past, and I'll say it again, we are not in a sprint here. We are in a long marathon, and it's going to be many marathons, of 26 and a half miles before we get there. And I don't like the attitude that ufology has taken. I don't like the fear mongering that ufology has taken through apology. And I don't think that the government can afford disclosure. We have to look at that factor too. I mean, we may want it. We may try and push our way towards it, but can the government afford ufology or disclosure? What if they knew, Nicole? And and it's funny. Last night I asked Grant Baker this on the UFO report. What if they knew, Nicole, that you were an experiencer? What if your name was on a list of experiencers that they had been watching, and they had everything on you from how many times you had been taken, how many times maybe you were involved in a hybridization program, how many times that you flew the craft, how many times that you had contact in the middle of the night that you have zero recall over? What if they had that information?
That you gotta listen to this MK Ultra hearing. Like, I mean, they were asking these two author, researcher, doctors the wildest shit. Like, and they could only speculate. Like, that was the weird thing about these hearings. Like, there wasn't a CIA representative or a Department of Justice representative. Like, these were two researchers that have done like collective 40, 50, whatever years looking into all the ins and outs of these cases. And then they had this other lady, which everybody was like, why is she here? She's a former National Institute of Health person, and all they did was ask her questions about COVID and how COVID was handled, which I thought was really weird, because she was a expert from the National Institute of Health, but her expertise was in essentially if they do trials and human experiments. So they had this expert in how you could theoretically still do an MK Ultra like program. They had, it took odd turns. They were pretty much asking and saying that they think there is a continuation of the MK Ultra mind control mixed with some Manchurian candidate sort of questioning. And this was coming from our congresspeople. Like I said, this is Luna Burchett Burleson. They had a lot of information that they were asking on. And this overlapped with a lot of CIA program and operation from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So much like UFO, and is there a legacy program, concealing this stuff? If there is this extension of MK, and there's like 148 plus different programs or offshoots of MK Ultra. So that's where it even gets hairier. But when you talk about CIA cutouts or fake institutions that they would make to give a cover, like all these scenarios, and how they were able to play out the human experiment side in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. So how could they still continue that into the 80s and the 90s and now? So you could see some parallels of if there's a legacy program, which even brings us back to UFOs. What is this legacy program? Is the legacy program a crash retrieval program, like Barber retrieving eggs? Or is it a crash retrieval and a reverse engineering program? So does that make it two programs? Are there two legacy programs? Well, now, is there a mind control that triggers these people to forget or not to forget, mixed up in human experiments, hidden human experiments, or these illusions or allusions to, I'm not meaning like illusion, but these allusions to us taking these gifted experiencer people from other countries or disaster zones or war zones and getting them into psionics. Well, are psionic people an extension of MK Ultra? Like, there's a lot of layers with this, and I think those hearings to go back and watch are important. They might not be UFO hearings, but they have all of our major players in there asking some very serious questions. And so if we have CIA legacy bad guys in ufology, and this is also CIA legacy program bad guys messing with MK Ultra, mind control, Manchurian Candidate, like, it was seriously asked if it, and they were making assumptions and speculation, if right now there could be some sort of AI driven algorithm that can trigger people to shoot people like Charlie Kirk, that they wouldn't know who this person is, but there's a certain amount of population that would be susceptible to this sort of mind control. So I don't know, they play a Tide commercial and it triggers people in that area, and one of them may or may not do this psycho sleeper agent crap. For real. Like, this was in our hearings. Like, how is that not making more headlines than UFO stuff? Because I think that is way crazier than we captured an egg that we psionically called down like Sheena of the jungle.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why a lot of these, if you want to get into that subject with a couple minutes to go here before we go to break, there are a lot of these groups that are startup groups that they're going to change the UFO world and the landscape. To the Stars Academy fell apart. Now we're seeing Skywatcher fall apart. There's been many groups in between that have fallen apart. I mean, this is just par for the course, Nicole.
We still have To the Stars, don't we? It's
Well,
just dropped the Academy. They're still putting out
technically
their
speaking,
book. They're not going to give us a starship.
my goodness. My
I don't know.
goodness.
Are we hoping for 0 point energy still? Because I don't think that's it.
I think it would be nice. You know, I still want my starship fly to the stars. You know?
That was another thing we could talk about. Burleson's given all these interviews, and I guess he sat down with Jesse Michaels, and he talked about a whistleblower that will not be public, and not a whistleblower as in like they went and testified anywhere. This is somebody who came and just talked with Burleson directly, and he said while he was in a war zone, we won't name which one or the year, but he encountered a blacker than black orb that made him feel like depressed and horrified and all these dark feelings around it. And that witness said that he believed it had to be alien technology that we had captured while we were there warring, or it was ours. But then he didn't understand why he would be exposed to it that way. So I thought that was weird because, you know, with Grant, we track all the orbs, and they came out before and they said the blue orbs are bad, you know, and little things like that. Grant had to do a whole lecture for MUFON about blue meanies. And
Hold that thought, because we're going to go to break here. Nicole Sakach is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. When we return, one of her favorites, Lou Elizondo, talking about a base on the back of the moon. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, let's take a 5-minute break.
Lunar
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit cariboucon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. And let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush-era buildings, said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, The 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of gold rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right, we got Shogun in the super chat seat right now, and do we have Nicole somewhere? She'll be back, and we have T-Bone. There's Nicole. We have T-Bone as well, hanging on out with another super chat. Thank you, T-Bone. And Stephen Kellyams, welcome to SOR chat. What else do we have here? Area 51, nice to see you, buddy. And Magnus Magnuson, good to have you here. And here we go. Here comes hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Theroid. Theroid is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's bring in ufologist, experiencer, author, cook, Nicole Sakach, hanging on out with us. Lou Elizondo came out on a podcast, Newsreel, basically saying that there is, and it has been seen and recorded, a base on the dark side of the moon. Apparently, there is photos showing moon monoliths. How do you feel about this, Nicole?
Lunar madness is a real thing. Here, I gotta refer to notes on this. Hang on. This was a hot topic today, and it did confuse a lot of people. So let's find the actual quote.
Oh, here, we'll play it. We'll play it here. Give me 2 seconds.
That's right. Here's the video. Let's play it.
Yeah, let's just play.
I do have it, but
let's just play the video. How about that? All right, give me 2 seconds here. And this we get courtesy of the Niconico News discussion. Here we go.
There's also photographs that I don't believe have been made public yet that show on the lunar surface what appear to be large monolithic structures with right angle cuts that appear to be on the lunar surface. And I believe those photographs, if they have not been released yet, may be released soon. But they are certainly very intriguing looking at these objects from space.
Your thoughts, Nicole?
I didn't watch the full thing, so I don't know what led up to that. Like if he gave some more details.
Well, let's see if
his information.
Let's see if we can find it here. Hold on. That's the same quote.
Well, I mean, is this something that like the chandelier photo that was like shared with him by somebody that was like a trust me bro and turned out to not be a good source? Like, is that how this information is? Or is he working the I was privileged to information when I was on the inside doing my job? You know, that scenario. So, because I mean, Dave, we've heard this before. I mean, do you want me to the researcher that came out with it? We can lay it
Well,
down
I
that
I think
way.
it's important because, excuse me, I think it's important because, we have so many people, who've wondered about the moon for decades, whether or not it is
Right.
home to not only some sort of alien life, but also to any sort of, you know, hillbilly, what's the word I'm looking for? Human type of life. Okay. Like, if you believe in the secret space program, people and researchers believe with Solar Warden and other projects that we have had humans on the moon for quite a while.
Mm, he wasn't saying Secret Space Force. We have a base on the moon, though,
No, I understand that.
which Secret Space Force became very real. We have a Space Force now, Space Force, but we still don't have really a clue as to what all their technology is. I mean, we know what they do and what they're supposed to be guardians over, but we don't know all the toys in their toy box, I guess, is what I keep thinking. Which I thought Trump would roll some out, like for our 250. I thought he'd be like, yeah, here's all the coolest stuff. And they didn't give us that. So,
No,
but
they didn't.
back to Elizondo. And Dave, this is a long back and forth you and I have with discussing Blue Elizondo. So I feel like it's part personal conversation here. Because just when I want to cut the guy some slack and think, okay, here's some good thoughts I have about Lou Elizondo, then he says some crazy shit about the moon. And I'm like, where the hell is he coming from? This goes back to our setting up the big Canada party disclosure fund. That none of that panned out. That's whatever that is, that's fine. But I know we discussed it time and time again, even at our Las Vegas party that year. Like, Lou Elizondo doesn't seem to know a lot of background history from like this side, the public side of ufology. Which I guess when you're on the inside doing some stuff, you're not, you know, you're not on the outside. You can have that different perspective. But you would think if you were going to become the leadership of this movement, give up your career, come out, whistle. I don't think he is a whistleblower, but stir all this stuff, bring forth some whistleblowers, be what he is. You would think within this now going on 10 years that you would, read those Leonard Stringfield books or dive into the community history and get yourself with a Richard Dolan or, Jan Aldrich or, I could just start inserting people at this point. So that bothers me. It's bothered me for a long time about Elizondo because I think that, that's why I feel like I read Imminent and I'm like, did he just cherry pick this stuff from other people and not give them any credit? Like, he talked about the Collins Elite, but doesn't talk about Nick Redfern naming them the Collins Elite. I think that's crappy. So we come up to, he says there's a base on the moon. And that makes me go, let me find this name because there's two. George Leonard. George Leonard. He died in 1994, but he was from NASA. He started coming out, and he had 3 main points that he wrote about, and they were all debunked like by 2009 as new things developed and tech got better. It was just like blurry images or repeated images compressed together. Like there was a lot of stuff that was debunked. And this little snippet of what Lou is saying sounds like that. It sounds like Leonard. And so is this going to be one of those things where he's said something preemptively too soon, or is it going to twist into something else? Because I don't know, Dave. You know, Faces on the Moon, this is tied into like wilder stuff for me. Like this is even to like the moon deniers that we never even went to the moon. Like there's lots of rabbit holes with this that I just don't think stack up, you know. So I don't like that path for Lou Elizondo. I mean, I've been worried for a long time that he's just another Richard Doty, but like 2.0 Richard Doty. And I don't know, he's just starting to feel more and more like Doty. The longer this stretches out, the wilder the claims that he makes, the more I compare him to Richard Doty. So sorry, Lou, but I mean, Doty's been around for 40 years now, doing the thing, making it happen. So, you know, Lou can be around for 40 years too. I'm all
It's
right
not a
with
bad.
that.
It's not a bad gig.
Nope. I'm there's Dave, we've always said there's room for all of us in ufology. So just don't
That
be
is
an
true.
asshole.
Oh,
Gotta have one, Dave. Gotta have one.
you're up to 2 now.
Dang it. See, that first one was subliminal.
Yeah. That happened
know.
at 9:50 with the word S.
You know why this happens, right, Dave?
You
It's
get all
because-
worked up.
No, in the 80s, we had no such thing as like parental guidance until like 1984, 85, and 86. So I was exposed to all this stuff before we knew that I should have been over 13. Or my parentals should have been guiding me during my viewing of some of the stuff so I wouldn't hear, or if I did hear these bad words, my parents could be like, don't cuss, that's terrible, zip it. But nope, it just all came in and now it all comes out.
The way it works. Nicole
It is.
Sakach is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Now, Nicole, one of the cool things about the fact that we can talk about the moon is because there is so much speculation with the tranches that came out that finally, after you've heard me bitching and griping about this for about 5-6 years about how NASA has been lying to the world about what they know. And I think it coincides with more of the NASA deceitfulness of what Elizondo says. I mean, NASA hasn't been very forthright, and they were in complete denial. You remember just about a year and a half ago, they spent a whopping $100,000 giving their buddies a nice vacation money to spend by coming on in and doing this report. And I wanted to swear so bad there with a BS, but with this report where they were laughing, saying, no, there is nothing. We look, there's no UFOs with NASA. They've got nothing. People need to stop it. Nothing's there. And now we're finding out it's all a lie. 100%. I will argue that point with you. Yeah, give me the I want to know what your is.
You forget that I am your friend that actually loves NASA. I'm like, yay, NASA. And I'm also your friend that's like, I really like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Neil, whatever his name is. I like him. I like that stance that he takes. So just like I like Arrow, I told you NASA was going to do this. I've been saying it since they were even, I was like, they're going to shut us down with NASA. They're going to shut down Disclosure with NASA. But anyways, I digress. I disagree with you with the NASA stuff because I truly believe that they are so public facing that it goes against their like internal code. So once you get over this, like, okay, maybe they have scrubbed a UFO from some satellite image. Maybe they have. Maybe they have had to scrub that. But they still are sticking to their rules of what extraterrestrial life is to them. They're staying in that lane too. Like they're not opening up their NASA explored UFOs or dove into UFOs, and they think it's something interdimensional or, they didn't take any of those turns. They've said, we don't think we're being visited. We don't have proof of that. Of course, we did our stuff on the moon. We actually went to the moon. There isn't a base on the moon. Buzz Aldrin didn't get buzzed with aliens on the moon. Like whatever those tried and true explanations are. So I do think like the skeletons in the closet might be we fudged something. But that even lends myself to what I was saying. We need to refer back to who has said this stuff before. Because Leonard's work, with all this high resolution and with every reiteration, like when his work came out, everybody applauded it. They were like, oh, hey, you might be onto something here. But it just didn't stand up over time. So we forget work and people like that, and people piggyback off of other people's stuff all the time and don't give people credit for what has come before. So with this sort of lunar madness, are they playing on that in a forgetful community, or that the 2017ers aren't going to realize this? Like, because, yeah, I mean, what's next? Are they hiding a fleet behind Jupiter? Like, that's what, like, what's next, Dave?
Well, I'll tell you what's next is I think the only delusion here is you supporting the face of NASA. I want what you have right now because I want to see them in rose-colored glasses again. I love NASA. I do. I loved the whole Artemis launch. I was glued to it. I was glued to what they were doing every day. And I felt sorry for 4 people being in a capsule the size of my studio. I felt horrible for that.
They loved that. You would love you would love to be encapsulated in your studio for 10 days.
Yeah, without a working toilet, absolutely.
Whatever got it done, you would get it done because that's how you feel.
But that's what I'm saying. I agree with you when NASA is on its game, when it is searching the stars, when it is going into space, traveling back to the moon. I was hyped about it. I'm hyped about that side. It's the darker, the more militaristic side of NASA that doesn't get the public eye, where they're lying about UFOs. That's the one that bugs me.
NASA. That's not NASA, though.
It is NASA.
That's what I mean. No, it's not. That's not NASA. NASA, and like there are deals and partnerships with NASA, and this might be the caveat where you get me or I get you, and we're like, oh, we do think the same thing. But so let's take like the Hubble, for instance, right? And then it's like now we know, oh, well, there was 2 Hubbles. Like NASA made one and then DARPA made one. And it's like, that's where we get this saying. It's like, there's always two. It's like they're never building just one thing. It's two. So does that explain the budget and where our stuff goes? It's because if you build one, you're really building two. If you're buying one golden toilet seat, are you really buying two? Like all of that. We've discussed those theories. So I know you and I have talked a lot about this emerging low Earth orbit and Leo economy, and whether or not the UFO cover up parallels or shadows the space program or NASA's development, or switching from just the decades or the years leading up to when we were launching the space station or sending up the rockets, that were the shuttle program, I guess is what I'm trying to say, the shuttle. Now we're all in the little lunar module rockets that can return. How useful is NASA? We're in this like branch of space race competition like stuff, even with other nations, Remember, like a few years ago, we were all excited. India was going to go to the moon. Yay, India's going too. And then they like smashed tardigrades all over the earth, all over the moon or something. So they tried. There's somebody else is going to try again. But it is creating, along with the Elon Musks and the Bezoses and everybody who has these very eccentric interests in space, even going back to Bob Bigelow and him wanting to put like space hotels with his inflatables, that are up there. Like this is all spinning in that universe of a low Earth orbit or a lunar to Earth economy. And is that going to be safe? Are we going to dump millions of dollars in between the Earth and the moon for the little green dudes to show up in the sports model and be like, ha ha, and I don't know, blast us out of the sky and be like, stay away from the moon? Like, for real. I mean, these are the most expensive, highly scientific human endeavors that we could take. And we're going to say there's an alien base on the moon. And we're going to say that that's safe for us to blow all these billions of dollars and do this until we have an answer to that question. Well, we expect NASA to answer that question. Where's the life? Where's it at? How can it get to us? Can it mess with us? Is it a little green dude or is it a microbe? Is it in our solar system? They're not going to backpedal on that and say, we've got little green dudes coming from Zeta Rectilia. There, I just had my brain part. I can't. Reticuli. I wanted to say reptilian lie in there because we're also talking reptilians again. And that's even what I mean. So we've got aliens on the moon, reptilians, bases, like, I don't know. What's next? One of these astronauts that just went around the moon, what have they said? Are they gonna, after the third Artemis lands, is one of them gonna come out and say, we saw something? Like, I don't know. Are they gonna fit the pattern? This is all, I just don't like it. I totally believe in human ingenuity and our best endeavors. This goes back to, I don't buy the whole ancient aliens built the pyramids. Like, I love human ingenuity and that pursuit. And I never want to rob us of our own humanity and give that to an alien or something non-human. Just like the Pope with AI.
Nicole. Hold that thought. We're going to go to break in like 25 seconds. I thought we're coming up. 25 seconds. But Nicole Sakach is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. She's a ufologist. She's an experiencer. She's got her own aliens, her own portals. She got everything. Yeah. She says She says that, these aliens are here. They are here. We're going to take some audience questions for Nicole when we return.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear.
NASA does get me worked up, almost as worked up as Dwayne Johnson in his wrestling days. Not really his acting days. I could give two flips about that, but
Good analogy. Oh, look at T-Bone, just a gift away. This guy's just the gift that keeps on giving. He's like Santa Claus every day here. Robert Anthony, how you doing?
who are we making contact with? Says Nicole, show us. I missed it. I could finally read a comment and now it went away. How do I contact my extraterrestrials? I don't know. At this point, I feel like it's Dave leaving stuff in his gifting field at his Bigfoot spot,
until the squirrels come and get it. Till the squirrel, that just pisses me off. Bloody squirrels.
Well, I don't know. Like, I wane back and forth between did the heist or CE5, playing with these different contact modalities. Did that trigger something? I don't like calling stuff the hitchhiker effect because I think that's inaccurate how it's described, like a disease or, I know it's kind of decades old at this point from when like Bigelow and NIDS first experienced this sort of activity to what was written about at like skinwalkers at the Pentagon, that sort of thing. But I don't know, they always described it more as like poltergeist, but saying poltergeist is kind of like dirty, like saying UFOs is dirty or funny. So
hey, watch this for a
the
second.
Hitchhiker effect. I think
while we have time, watch this. Sorry. This is the little bastard who's taken my stuff for my gifting site. Look at him. He's going up there. There he is, crawling in there. He's going to be like, oh, hey.
Oh,
hey, what's
that?
I
see
He's
him.
like, what's that orange thing up there? What's that orange thing? Oh, what do we got here?
Is that a brown squirrel or a gray one?
Huh? Oh, he's like, oh, this tastes good. This tastes good. Little prick.
Is that a squirrel or a ferret?
Oh, look.
What is that
look,
thing?
there's my quarter. Look, there's my quarter.
There
Gone.
he is.
You son of a... And he did it all in front of the camera, too, the bastard. Right? Here, I'll give you another one. Hold on.
Is that a squirrel or is that... Hold on, though. Is that really a squirrel or is that Bigfoot
cloak
shape-shifting?
I don't know. Here's the next one.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't.
Here's the next one.
How do they cloak? Do they shrink? Like,
right? Hold on. He's over here right now.
Watching for him.
There he is, right there. Right there. Little prick.
He's like the predator hiding in there. Like he's gonna jump out.
He's playing with my basketball right now.
Arnold Schwarzenegger covered in mud, like all up in that tree, camouflaged. Like, what's going on with this? Where's that squirrel?
Exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I have a squirrel that's
there he goes.
Me a little too much right now.
Watch what he does. He's gonna look at that. Now he's taking the little bastard. Now he's taking my quartz. Now now watch. He's going to come over here, and the prick is going to show it. Look at him. Yeah, I'm going to take this too, he says.
I'm watching. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, this is fun. Here he goes. Yeah, there he goes. Hey, camera. Hey, camera. Look what I got. Look what I got in my mouth. Oh, you can't see it? There it is. Yeah, there's my quartz right there.
Oh, is he
Thief.
sticking it in his like sock
Yeah.
pouch?
Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
He thinks that is the coolest.
Here we go.
That's the coolest
Here we go.
nut he's ever seen.
Second half of Space Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. We got Nicole Sakach on the air, talking UFOs, disclosure. Right before the break, or during the break, I was showing videos to my YouTube crowd about the thief of a squirrel stealing my items from my Bigfoot gifting site. He got my whistle, he got my quartz, he got my jade, and he even stole a quarter. He even stole a quarter. Right? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'll be posting those videos on my new YouTube channel. Yeah, it's new. Let me tell you about it. It's called SOR Secrets of the Forest. SOR Secrets of the Forest on YouTube. That's all of our adventures out at Flight 21. We're going to be posting new videos very, very soon. Nicole, welcome back.
That was Flight 21.
Nice.
I like
Ready
it.
for-
That
ready for-
squirrel, though, I don't know.
So, if you have an opportunity to go to our YouTube channel, I'm going to play the other video here. I'm going to do a play-by-play here because this really
I
bugs
need
me.
it.
This really bugs me. Hold on, because this little thief, I swear to God, if I see him, I'm going to lecture him. I'm not even going to chase him. I'm not going to get mad. I'm going to lecture him like you know when you make too much noise in the bingo hall and all the silver hairs give you that stare, and then they start kind of saying, "We're going to get you. We're going to get you." You know
Those
what
are
I'm
my
saying?
people. What do
Yeah.
you mean? Those are my people.
All right. Well, so
The blue hairs that are
so
going
in
to get
this
you.
video, my trail camera is this is totally sidebarring here. My trail camera is about 15 feet from my gifting site at my Bigfoot spot. And then all of a sudden my whistle went missing. And here he is, the little squirrel, after showing off, stealing my jade, stealing my quarter, stealing my you name it, my quartz. Now he goes into the tree and gets my whistle. That whistle is supposed to be for Sasquatch. It's bright orange.
Yeah, you see, it's in his mouth. He's
It's
running
in his
around
mouth.
with it.
It's in his mouth, and he's running away from the camera because he doesn't care. He's a thief. He's a thief.
No, I think that is a Bigfoot. I think it's cloaked Bigfoot.
It might be. It might be.
Making fun of you that you don't recognize it. And it's like, here, I'm even showing you. I'm taking your whistle. I'm taking your quartz and I'm sticking it in my tree. Like
Many people
Yep.
believe that Sasquatch can transform itself into other creatures or have other creatures help it out. So is that where it is? But the good part about it is I kind of know the direction he is going. And so when I'm there this coming weekend, what's that?
That squirrel, it was hoarding your stuff. It moved it back to his little tree right there, and
He's
was
a
like,
hoarder.
This is going in my hangout." Like he's decorating his squirrel bachelor pad with that stuff.
I think he's trying to get lucky.
asking you to come get it.
He's trying to get lucky, is what he's trying to do.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's exactly
I
what
don't
he's
know. They are kind of dumb. He was biting that quartz like he was gonna, get a snack out of that. That wasn't good.
all I'm saying is the guy's a jerk. And I'm gonna lecture him. I'm probably gonna shake my finger at him. Right? I'm gonna see if I can find this stuff because I know the direction he's going. Unless he takes it into a tree. Then I can't climb a tree. I'm way too fat for that. All right, let's get to some audience questions. First Contact is asking, Nicole, do you believe that CE5 works?
I believe that many contact modalities can give you an experience. The actual protocols of CE5, I know don't work for everyone, but there's also various reasons as to why they might not work for everyone. I do think with any of these things, it's not, like Dave has said time and time again, none of these things, heists involved, are like an instant gratification sort of thing. You do have to there's lots of ways of putting it. You have to get yourself in that correct space or the right meditative vibrations, or you just have to make sure you're right with your life and open your heart. There's lots of interpretations on this, but there's also like the origins of CE5, which are in HICE, human initiated contact experience, which is an extension of the Hynek contact scale, which is close encounters of the first kind, second kind, third kind, fourth kind, being abductions. So you see where I'm going with that. And when you widen that terminology to contact modalities like Grant, Cameron, and other longer term researchers sort of refer to this, then that's where it ties in other aspects of that might be of a more spirituality nature. Like Grant used to tease me that that's one way that I would try to raise my vibration to go out and do a sky watch and maybe call in craft or see if it created anything anomalous is I used to like to dance like a goofy idiot because I have no rhythm at all, but I also love to dance and it always makes me happy. And everybody's advice was, you have to raise your vibration. You have to be in a happy spot. Well, me dancing like an idiot. So I started researching dance and how people get into these meditative states with dance or breath work and breathing. And it was sort of a rabbit hole of what are these ritualistic experiences that not only individuals have, but they come together as groups and try to recreate. So that's where those sort of research opportunities really opened up for me. I don't like to talk about it often because a lot of these groups are private, but I do get invited to come and participate in things that aren't necessarily always UFO related. But, then it's really weird. The UFO stuff, and I'll say stuff lightly, pops up, So a group of spiritualists that are trying to hold a seance and they get the orbs, what are they doing that's maybe generating orbs, because they sure as heck weren't like, we just called down a bunch of UFOs. So, I don't know. So does CE5 work? I would say as well as any other contact modality when you are investing yourself into that mindset, maybe.
Let's move on. Let's go to another question. Will anything big happen on the Roswell anniversary?
Oh, I think we already kind of celebrated it over the 3rd and kind of the 4th. The festival. it hasn't been released in any of the tranches of information. I know there's some people that are salty about it. They still think it's our best endeavor to maybe pull out a crash retrieval, which I kind of agree. There's still the most evidence behind that case to back it up, and I think we deserve answers. But then that's when we've been given our answer to that twice now. It was a balloon and then it was a super balloon. So, I mean, do we expect them to give us a third balloon or just all of a sudden go, no, I don't really think we're going to get anything like that out of Roswell, but we might get some interesting documentation, I guess, but we probably won't like it. Is what I might say. But no, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. It's going to be just another day. T-Bone is asking. Oh, we already talked about the moon and monolith, so we'll let that one go.
We kind of didn't talk about the monolith, but sure.
If getting UFO disclosure meant giving pardons for criminal activity, would you take the deal?
Do I think that should be on the table? Personally, no, I don't. I think if you're a criminal and you participated in something, even if it wasn't criminal at the time, like, I mean, I don't know, there might be some sort of grace period, like with the CIA enhanced torture program, like what they did wasn't necessarily illegal, but especially if it comes to like the abduction stuff. If abductions are in some like Hail Mary conspiracy interwoven cloth with a continuation of like paper clipped Nazis starting MK Ultra and expanding it into Manchurian Candidate mind control, using UFO people as a cover up, and experimenting on our soldiers and our citizens and people in asylums or institutes or prisons. Like, no, I'm sorry. I don't think you should get a pass for any of that criminal activity. Like, expose the program and hold them accountable, because that's like, to me, it's almost equivalent with letting Nazis escape, without going to trial. Like, no. This is a 80-year legacy cover up at this point, and no.
Nicole, I asked Lorian Fenton this the other night, and I'll ask you the same question. A lot of people hear the words legacy program thrown around through this whole subject. Can you kind of, and I know you're kind of a big historian on things like this, what is the legacy program for people who may not understand?
Well, that's the argument right now. I think you not only asked Lorian this question, but you also asked Courtney Marksani this question as well, and now you're asking me, and I think we're all three going to give you slightly different answers. And I think that's being debated everywhere right now. Did we go from talking about the legacy program is the legacy of the cover up? Is it the legacy of this was a program that was started in the 40s? It went for a while. We didn't get anywhere. It was shut down, and then it started back up again, and then it was shelved again. Is it that sort of legacy, like a continuation of, or is it this crash retrieval program? Is it a reverse engineering program? Is it a, like I said with MK Ultra and what we're talking about with some of these whistleblowers or abductees, is this some sort of mind control? And I tie that into is the legacy a legacy of covering up or using UFOs as a cover for real tech? Like, what is the legacy program, Dave? That's a really good question. A couple years ago, when the Wilson Davis notes were the document leak of the century, that was all crash retrievals. That was, have we recovered a craft in the past? Like, is that Roswell? Is that, insert? Is it Kecksburg? Is it Cape Girardeau? Is it Aztec? Is it, name all those historical crashes. And then we jumped from that to Jake Barber's getting eggs. And, so is it a legacy of that? Because that is the retrieval program, the legacy. Is the cover-up program the legacy? Is this all one program under an umbrella? How are all these people getting their paychecks and vacation days? And
well, who's involved with it? No, but I mean, back in the day, everybody thought it was the aviary. Now it seems, that it could be other people.
Well, the aviary was made up of a conglomerate of insiders, but insiders how was, all debatable with their background, like, but they were just coming together to, they were kind of talking about UFOs. If they were meeting in groups like the Advanced Theoretical Physics Working Group or the UFO Working Group, or there was another physics working group before that. If they were coming together in these, kind of groupings unofficially, and UFOs were coming up, like, they still haven't admitted that. Like, the aviary, they didn't know they were considered a one group, like a together group by Bill Moore and Jamie Chandray. They didn't even find out they had bird names until after the fact, like things like that. So I think we give the insiders or the program too much credit. I do think we've had interesting things that we might not know the origin of, and we've pulled it out, and then we shelve it, and then we pull it out. I do think there might be scenarios like the Philip Corso scenario, like, hey, we have this stuff, we don't know what to do with it, so let's give it to Lockheed, or, it's shelved around somewhere. But all that sort of line of thinking kind of stopped with this current culture of David Grush coming out and more whistleblowers. But they haven't given us those pieces of anything yet. They haven't filled in what Wilson was talking about to Davis. They didn't fill in what program he alleged. They didn't give evidence of that. They haven't contradicted Dick D'Amato when he looked into it for Senator Byrd. His whole investigation took 10 years. Like, he worked on that from 89 to 99. 10-year long investigation. Is that what we've started with David Grush's ICIG and Burleson looking into things and these hearings and committees? Like, is it going to take 10 years? Because Dick D'Amato, after 10 years, said he couldn't find evidence of anything. And if there was a program, it would have to be so illegal. That's the only way it could be functioning. Well, here we are years later, and we're doing exactly what he said. We are claiming that there's an illegal operating program, but we still haven't proved that there's an illegal operating program. And then people say, well, Grush has given up the goods and they're investigating these, you know, programs directly. Well, we still haven't heard confirmation on that either. We've heard that he has given credible information that they're investigating, but then they also turn around and say that there's not enough information, and the programs they were directed towards maybe have had some financial problems or issues with how they've disclosed things with their finances. Well, I was excited. They actually like have a program that they went to and they're like, haha, what's going on? But they haven't said it's an illegally operating program or an unacknowledged secret special access program. They've said they found evidence of a program, may or may not even be UFO related, that has financial or a few financial discrepancies. But then there's also a pattern and a procedure of what happens next if you have a financial discrepancy. It doesn't mean your program gets shut down, I guess is one way, or it doesn't mean that that gives them the right to expose what your program is either. So that's gray area. That's why ICIG works with the Department of Justice on these sort of things, because if there's any like next step to be levied, like ICIG doesn't go around and, you know, enforce anything. They make recommendations on their findings.
All right, let's go to another question here because we only got about 2.5 minutes. Let's go to, let's see here. What are your personal beliefs on what is on the moon, if anything? Kind of answered that already. Let's go to this one. If you had a choice between keeping NASA or Arrow, which one would you keep? Dun, dun, dun.
NASA.
Okay, why?
Well, I mean, what we even expect, what NASA does, like, that's not what we want Arrow to do, you know.
Final question. Do you think that ETs that abduct humans are bad ETs?
No, not necessarily. I've never been, there's factions of this is good or bad, or, you know, there's these warring factions of good reptilians or like whatever that is. Like, I think there is good and bad and everything that would be considered a being, you know, like a something that has the consciousness. So, or even whether it's a reflection of what you bring to an experience you get out of it, you know. And then I'll fall back on the repeaters with abductions. I know the statistic is there, and it's on the lower end, that people continuously have a terrifying abduction scenario. But I think back to even Whitley Strieber, you know, so 70s, 80s, 90s to today, presently, that continuous contact and experience becomes, like Whitney said, a communion. And most people find that after they have an acceptance or they're able to come together and talk about these experiences with people, or during the experience with what they're engaging with, these things start to become more positive, and it's viewed as a positive thing for their life. And that's where I like people to place the abduction or the taken scenarios or the experiences. That's how I place my own. So, you know, there's a big difference to how a child experiences.
All right. Nicole Sakach, you are done for the night. Thank you for filling in for Christian McLeod, Swamp Dweller, and Robin Haynes coming up
You're
next.
listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Thank you, number one.
I want you to ask Robin about the sidewalk talk.
Stick around and hang out.
Are you sure? I don't want to hoard.
Yeah,
in,
stick
but...
around. Robin would love it.
Ooh.
Stick around. I'm playing a commercial.
Stop now! You're under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best-kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right, we bring in Robin. Nicole is still here because Nicole wanted to ask you a number of questions while we're on the air. Robin.
Sure.
I was showing them the videos of the squirrel taking my stuff. I'm still a little pissed about that. Thank you to Dutch Hank, Pam Harris, T-Bone ×2, and Shogun for the super chants. Ali Tup, how you doing? Blackthorn, nice to see you. Thurston Howell III, how you doing? And I know there's a bunch that I missed here tonight. I apologize. Jeremy Jones, I've seen you in here. And John Allen. And Acuff, how you doing? Bunch of you. Hi, I'm Dave. Here we go. This is hour number 3 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Welcome back. We got Swamp Dweller. Robin Haynes is here for the Q&A. Nicole's sticking around because she has some woo questions for Robin. It's going to be good. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Theroid. Theroid is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. I do not really believe the paranormal, like 100%, but I'm pretty open-minded, so I decided to give it a try anyway, and here I am. There are 3 events that happened in my life. I am currently 24, that I cannot really explain, and the last one is the most unbelievable. But I'll start with the very first one. This happened to me a long time ago. I was probably 5 or 6 years old. I was at my grandmother's house, and it was the morning, and she left me alone for maybe a half an hour. I was a very quiet and calm kid, so she had no problems leaving me alone for a bit. While I was watching TV, I heard some noises coming from the room where my uncle and mother used to sleep when they lived with their parents. It wasn't a particular noise. It was a very regular, as if someone was doing their business inside kind of noise. I knew I was alone though, so I decided to go there and see what was going on. I wasn't scared or anything, I was just curious. So when I went inside the room, it was all completely normal and empty. But as I was about to leave, from the other side of the bed, I saw a figure jumping up, like if it was hiding under the bed with a blanket on them. It was my uncle. He started howling at me, but in a playful way, as you do to a kid. So I wasn't scared, but rather entertained, and after a few seconds, I left the room. Now, my uncle's room is at the end of the corridor, and at the sides of this corridor, there's my grandmother's room and the bathroom. So to go back to the living room where I was watching TV, I had to pass by my grandmother's room.
When I was passing my grandmother's room, I looked into there, and what I saw was something like what was in my uncle's room. I can't really explain it. It was like it jumped through the wall or something, and it was doing the same thing and the same howling. This time I didn't stop watching. I just saw him while passing by. And when I passed by the bathroom, he jumped from behind the door doing the same thing again. I'm sorry, it's just so hard to explain. After that, I went back on the couch and continued watching TV. I never spoke about it again with my grandmother, because back then, I didn't think it was much of a big deal. But as I grow up now, this thing has really stuck with me, and I can't really explain what happened. A lot of people say it's some sort of glitch in the matrix or some sort of time loop or something. I also want to say that my uncle is fine. He's not dead, and when this happened, he was far away from where my grandma lives. There's also no way to sneak in from one room to another, so it's like he would have had to jump through the wall, literally. So this is my first paranormal event. As I said, I'm pretty skeptical, but I'd like you to know that I have gotten past these events, and they don't scare me anymore.
Thank you, Swampy, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to each and every night. Time for Robin.
Robin Haynes walks stopped where the tall trees sway. She hears Bigfoot whisper what the wind won't say. Through the veil of the forest where the wild man plays, the Bigfoot psychic talks to Sasquatch every day. Only on Spaced Out Radio's Cryptid Q&A.
All right, Robin Haynes, it is great to have you back on Spaced Out Radio. Nice to see you and still kicking around. Nicole Sakach.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Robin.
Great to meet you. Really quick, Dave, this female is not going to leave me alone until I tell you her name. This is the one that was over at the gifting site. The big black broad-shouldered one. Her name is Bellini.
Bellini.
So write it down because I get 100 different names a day. So if you think I'm going to remember, I won't. She spells it Bellini. And the other night when we were on the phone, she said it, but it was right as you got off the phone. And so I didn't get a chance to tell you. And I was going to message you the next day and forgot about it. And since I got on here, she is like blowing up my head. She says it's important that you know that. I don't know why. Oh, she says it's her son that goes up there with his dad.
Oh.
So she's the first female I've caught up there.
I got to ask you. Here's the interesting part about the squirrel that was taking all of my items.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She took the one. I saw her put it in her hand.
Well, here's what I'm asking them. And Nicole kind of brought this up. So I'm going to give Nicole credit for this.
Go, Nicole!
What if that squirrel was a Sasquatch camouflage?
100%. When you mentioned squirrel, that was the very first thing I thought of. 100%. I have physically watched them shapeshift. And it is the freakiest thing ever. Score one for Nicole.
My question is, though, okay, so when they shapeshift, in my head, okay, there's the cartoon from The Sword and the Stone, when Merlin changes him and the boy into different animals. And so do they really just like transform and go into like the tiny little squirrel, or is it like a mirror image and you just think they look like a squirrel, but they're really still their Bigfoot self?
That's a really good question. And I would love to sit there and say to you, no, they do it this way. All I can tell you is what I observed. And how they tell me everything they do is done by frequency, which is vibration and energy. They change their vibrational state, which changes the molecules, which changes everything in their system when they do it, according to them. I don't know science, so I'm the worst person to ask about science. I'm going by what they were told or what they told me. What I saw them do was a very large Sasquatch. It started out looking like a elk-sized black deer in my front yard that went up to the pine trees, got on its hind legs, and was like grabbing the branches and pulling it down and pulling the branches. And then it walked on its hind legs and morphed into a Sasquatch who proceeded to walk up in front of my garage and walk over to my porch. And I was watching this on the security camera. And he sat down on the step on my porch and then went towards where I put birdseed down in the middle of the yard. And he did, you know, when we were kids, we walked like a duck on the back of our calves. He did that all the way over there. And then he was picking up the birdseed with his hands. And then he literally transformed and morphed down into a raccoon and went running off. It was, I had people that saw it with me. I wasn't the only one that saw it. Otherwise, I would have just like called 911 and said, put me in the hospital. But other people saw this happen as well. There was no reason for him to try to change. They do have the ability to make you see things differently. They call it mirroring. So they do have that ability. I've had that happen to me before. But this thing had no idea that anybody was watching because there was a security camera. Now they are aware of the cameras.
Right.
Usually they just bust them. That's what they finally did with mine. But they zap them. They use frequency, they zap them and take them right out. I had all of them go out at one time.
Well, I was making fun of Dave's squirrel in this picture because he kept saying, look at this, you know, it just took off with my whatever it's showing. I said, Dave, that squirrel is the Bigfoot because it's showing you, hey, I just took your whistle that you left for me. Hey, I just took my cords because it kept walking out. It was like literally showing Dave in the camera, hey, I just took your stuff. And then just ran back, stashed it in its little squirrel stash, and then came up and did it again. I mean, that's what he wants to happen. He wants Bigfoot to get it. And I think the Bigfoot played I'm going to come to you as a squirrel trick.
I would believe that 100% for a couple of reasons. First off, they adore him. They really do. They just love Dave. And they like messing with him. They love playing with him. They have complete trust in him and who he brings out. Like they really are very, very much attached to him. Like when he doesn't go out for a while, I hear from them. Second, this Bellini showed me her go up to it. And then I saw her from the back. Like I saw her shoulders, her back, down her torso, and around her rear end and down to her calves. And she was hunched over it, playing with it. Now I saw her, she had her hand out and she had something in her hand. I couldn't make it out. It looked kind of a darker color. We believe it might be the piece of jade. And then I saw her close her hand up around it very, very tightly. And I'm not going to change my story on it because I know that's exactly what I saw. She showed it to me several times. And then she was standing in front of it. And when she left, I don't know what happened to the rest of the items since then. But I do know they are capable of that. Now, a squirrel will steal a lot of things. We know that, just like a raccoon will. But in all honesty, is it going to keep going back over and over and over to grab that many things? And certain things are a shape that would not be easy for a squirrel to grab, such as a whistle.
My God, it had it in its mouth, like up and down and around this, like, and yeah, just like you would hold.
Yeah.
A whistle.
But it's just too coincidental for me. And I quit believing in coincidences by the time I was 6. Like there was just too many things that didn't make sense.
I've been trying to follow along. And Dave, was the quarter left first? Like this has been an exchange, you know, like I think the squirrel took the stuff in the order of how you left it.
The quarter, a Canadian loonie, the quartz, the jade, and the whistle have been there for a year.
Right.
The
Do you
loonie,
remember what you left
the
first?
loonie left about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, the male has the loony. He's obsessed with that loony.
And we've traded that same loony a couple of times with him. And then 2 weeks prior to this last little incident here, we actually found a bracelet, and I got it right here.
Right.
A bracelet
And you left the quarter after
and a dime. And then we traded the quarter, the dime and the bracelet for a quarter and a glow stick. Now the quarter and the glow stick are still there. Squirrel didn't take them, but it took everything else.
Quarter. It took the quartz.
So there were 2 quarters there at the time when we left. And they took the 1 quarter that's been there, or the squirrel took the 1 quarter that's been there the whole time. I haven't found the video yet of the jade, but you've seen the videos of the whistle, the quarter, and the quartz.
That whistle cracked me up.
Well, I'm going to tell you, they love glow sticks. I have had such success with them playing with glow sticks. We had a very dear friend that came over and brought glow sticks, and he had this big, huge plastic pickle jar, and he put the glow stick, it had a button on it, that particular one where you could turn it on and off. He turned it on, took the jar out, hung it from a tree out in the woods. We were sitting at the bonfire watching it. As soon as he walked halfway back from the tree, it went off. So he went back and he's like, something's wrong with the glow stick. And it had been turned off. So he turned it on again. This happened 4 or 5 times. Every time he'd walk away, it would shut off. And then he would get almost to the tree and it would go back on. And that's when we figured out they were messing with it. And so that went on for a couple hours, and he finally just called it quits for the night. But I would put glow sticks out in front, and they would run through the woods with them. You'd see these glow sticks whipping through the woods. And a friend of mine brought over a hula hoop that when you whipped it around would light up. They had more fun with that goofy thing. You would see that hula hoop going through the woods all night long, lit up. And they love the stuff that lights up.
Oh. Yeah. Well, this was strange for me. Usually, I'll admit, I go into like spaced out radio withdrawal over the weekend, and I can't listen to Dave because he's not on. But then I remember, I'm like, oh, it's Saturday. And then I know that means you're like going out in the woods and you're going to either go to the spooky house or your Bigfoot spot. Well, when you were talking about that, I knew it was Saturday. And Dave, I don't think I had talked to you maybe even since like Thursday or Wednesday or whatever, but
right.
It found its way to me this weekend. I was like, hey, Dave's going Bigfooting this weekend. And then I went to bed Saturday night, and Sunday I woke up and I was like, I've got to tell Dave he needs to gift the Bigfoots sidewalk chalk. They need sidewalk chalk. They want the sidewalk chalk. And I kept thinking, I'm like, why am I thinking about Dave and what he can give his Bigfoots? Like, I'm serious. I was like, this is not like, where is this coming from? So then it just nagged me all day long. And then I had to message Dave and I was like, you need to give your Bigfoot sidewalk chalk. So I don't know where that came from, but I'm thinking it just found its way to me. So I had to share it. And I wanted to share that with you. Like, do they like sidewalk chalk, or would they think that's fun? I don't know.
Hold on 1 second here. Robin, 1 sec. There you go.
Okay.
What do you think? Sidewalk chalk?
Well, first off, are you aware that you have abilities?
Maybe
Nicole?
sometimes.
Okay, because you do get mind speak, you do get premonitions, and you tend to have the empath ability. You get it stronger at times depending on what's going on in your personal life, because that alters your frequency. So that's why. What you got was mind speak from them. which mind speak comes in millions of different ways. It is not always words. Sometimes it's a sense of knowing. It can be a thought that they put in your head or a projection of emotions, and that's what you got. Do they all like sidewalk chalk? Not all of them. Some of them do. My kids used to use sidewalk chalk, and if they left it outside, they'd go out the next day and there would be all these crude drawings. Also, if you look on some of the rocks that they do, people are always going like, how do they draw on these rocks? I don't know where they get this stuff. I can't say it's chalk. I can't say it's just a white rock, but they have left me more drawings on things, and I don't know what they use. So do I think that they would use sidewalk chalk? I think there's a very strong possibility they would. They do have their own alphabet. They do know how to read. They do know how to write, and they do know how to draw. They can do all the things. That's why we get a lot of drawings on large rocks, or they used to get rocks that were the size of eggs at my house that they would get out of the lake, and they would write on those, whether it was just crude scribbles on it or some weird shaped letter that we later would put with their alphabet and it would match, or it would be a drawing. I have pictures of where they drew teddy bears on a tree for me, and then they also drew a crude drawing of a Sasquatch with alien heads around it. And I had it looked at by somebody that knows about different funguses and stuff on trees. But when I walked by the tree, it wasn't there. When I went back by, it was. And they said it was no kind of a fungus, but it looked like chalk. But I don't know what they used to do it. I'm being honest. I have no idea where they found it, what they used it on, if it was chalk, if it was whatever, I don't know. But there seems to be a big coincidence with them, and that, as well as this, like a waxy white film that's on their hands, that once they get it on your windows, you can't get it off.
Well, I had this scenario in my head, Dave, that you would gift them and in my head, it was 3 different colors of sidewalk chalk. They needed the blue, they needed the red, and they needed the yellowy white one. And they're all safe for trees, so they'll wash away, but they'll hold up through weather. They can get wet and the stick's not going to melt. But in my head, this was like, Dave's going to give them the sidewalk chalk, and then they're going to leave, and you can tell this to Merle, they're going to leave Dave and Merle little marks on the trees so they can follow the marks. And I don't know. So there you go, Dave. Got to get Merle, and you guys have to go out together on this one after you gift them the chalk.
Well, we can definitely do that. And thanks to Joe in our chat room for recommending that I make a squirrel picture of for our t-shirt. I mean, you really want to be able to, have the love of a squirrel hanging out, taking your jade and your quartz.
Oh,
That's all
it's
I'm
like
saying.
Like that leprechaun attitude.
Totally. You don't have to respect it. I mean, honestly, I am going to have a word with that squirrel. I know the direction. Do you think we'll find the objects, Robin?
I think you have a better chance of the objects coming back. And I will not be surprised at all if they do. They work on a barter system. And what I've noticed with you through the years since you brought me in on this project is they love interaction with you, and they love to mess with you. And it's gotten to be a very relaxed game for them. And you've got a couple of them in there that seem to be more into it than others. And now, for whatever reason, this is the first female that's come up there that I've even remote viewed. And she's very much into it. It's like if you were to take a woman shopping, that's kind of where her mindset is at. Like, the male has not let any of these females up there. And now, for whatever reason, she came up. But when you went out there, they were all out hunting. Like, they were going all over the place. The white and the black one were up front. that clan leader, that's the tan color, he wasn't that far away, but most of them were out hunting.
Robin, hold that thought. Nicole and Robin going to hang out a little bit more on Spaced Out Radio.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
Mm-hmm. Damn squirrel. Give me 2 seconds here. There we go. Oh, wrong one. Wrong window. I'll go get some chalk. You know, the good part about my boy growing up and having milk crates first, and milk crates full of old toys, so I could just raid the toys.
I did that with my kids. But the other thing is, squirrels don't usually bring these things back. Okay, a squirrel or a raccoon may steal things, but they very seldom do they bring them back. And so when you get them that are leaving and they're coming back, that takes thought process, that takes thinking, that takes manipulating the object, it takes remembering to go and get it and bring it back. So now you're looking at something at a higher level of intelligence. Now, will some squirrels bring it back? Absolutely. I'm not going to speak for every squirrel in the world, but it's not very common that they bring it back. They might bring it and you find it a couple feet away or something like that. But to take it back, you know, I'm not sure that I would believe that. I do think that, you know, some might, but not all of them.
They had that study where squirrels can't even find like 80% of their nuts. So that's, I don't think I think that was a cloaked Bigfoot squirrel. And so that's why I think the stuff's going to come back. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but I'm going to stick to that.
That's my vote.
Yeah, that's totally what I'm thinking.
Well, and I tell you right now, as the frequencies are going up, granted, we're going through all kinds of changes and it's messing us up emotionally, physically, sleep-wise, all of it while our bodies recalibrate to it. The Sasquatch are loving it. They're absolutely loving it because they live their entire lives in a higher frequency and they love it. And they are right now being very goofy, very playful, playing prank. I mean, they're having a ball right now. They're living life. And they absolutely like playing games with Dave. And whoever he brings out is subject to it as well.
I'm okay with that.
Earlier, I walked outside and I tried to peek in through my windows to see if I did have a window peeper alien, if we'd even be able to see him. And I don't think I scared you guys. So, no window peeper aliens tonight. Darn it.
I'm hoping they leave my air conditioner alone tonight. The last 4 or 5 days, I keep hearing them tapping outside the window. I know they're there. They're always around. But then I wake up in the morning and my air conditioner is halfway out my window. We have not played this game since I lived in Michigan 9 years ago. They ripped the lot. Yeah, I'm sound asleep. I wake up and the air conditioner is not only not in my window, it's out in the middle of the woods. And I never even heard them do it. And they have not bothered my air conditioner since. I've got 2 air conditioners in my room and they leave them alone. But every morning I wake up, this air conditioner is tilted partially sideways and halfway out the window. And I keep hearing them tapping out there. So I don't know, but Mama's going to have a fit if that air conditioner's out of my window. It's 100 degrees here.
Oh, we've been having the heat wave here as well.
I usually keep water out there for them. I put buckets of water out there and they'll drain them and I'll find the buckets farther away. But yeah, the heat has been really bad. The humidity's been really bad. They don't, and they're hesitant here to even want to hunt because it's so hot. So they're stealing more of the pet food than normal.
everything is really lethargic here. Like I've been seeing wild animals just laying down because like heat stroke, like that sort of stuff. It's been really hot here.
Yeah. Well, they normally go into my feral cat pens and take their food, but the weather, when it was decent, they were leaving it alone. And now they're back to, I'll put 5 pounds of kibble out there. And by nighttime, they've gone in and it's empty.
Wow. I woke up the other night. It was so freaky. I've never had this happen to me before, but I heard something on my back porch, and I was for sure it was a groundhog because I do have those, and they like to steal out of my garden. So my big thing was I was going to go out my back door right over here and be like, aha, groundhog, scare you away.
5
Like,
seconds, guys.
I hid
5
out my back
seconds.
porch and I shut my flashlight. I was
Here we go.
surrounded by cats.
Here we go.
Like 15 cats.
Here we go with the second half hour, or the last half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for choosing us for your listening entertainment. Robin Haynes in the Q&A continues. Nicole Sakach is here as well. Talking about gifting and squirrels transforming into Bigfoot. Let me tell you, we're into some serious woo here, people. Serious woo. Robin, how you doing?
I'm good. Having fun. I love this show.
Nicole, how are you?
I'm doing good too. That I was just explaining the crazy cats. Like,
tell about the
watch
crazy
out.
cats.
I have a little porch, little back deck, and it was completely surrounded. Like every couple feet, there was a cat, just like statuesque, sitting on my porch, staring at my house. It was weird. All I could see were their eyes until I put my flashlight, and like more than half of the 15 cats were black cats. And I'm like, where are all these cats coming from? I've never seen this many cats. And I have seen the strays and the wild ones and all that stuff. It's fine. But I was like, what are we having a party on my back porch for? Like, it was creepy.
Well,
my own cats wouldn't even go towards. They were just like, yeah.
As the frequencies go up, your abilities are going to kick in more, whether you want them to or not. So if you start getting more premonitions or you start feeling like you're getting information and you don't know why you are, okay, because as this frequency goes up, it's going to kick into everybody. Okay, it's not just going to happen to one person.
I get it.
As your frequency raises, that's what kicks in your abilities. Everybody has abilities, some people at different levels. You just have to learn how to know how to use them. But the frequency is what triggers it. If your frequency is too low, you stay in the third dimension, you don't have them. If it goes up higher and you get into the fourth dimension or higher, they automatically kick in. And that's what the shift is doing with everybody.
It is. I'll make a confession, a woo confession, since we're after my time and here, Dave. I sort of believe in this and, that you can tap into some of these abilities. But what has jumped out at me the most since living in this house and this property, and I'm totally starting to buy into it, is I think the old giant trees around this place talk to me. And
trees do talk to people.
Nuts. I know it sounds nuts, but
it's not.
I grew up here, and these trees are ancient, like old, like I'm talking about, they're over 100 years old. And I walk outside, and I swear to God, these trees tell me hello.
Well, they do. Trees, to begin with. T-Bone, thank you. I just saw that. Thank you so much, sweetie. But also, what I teach with my clients is how to talk to the trees, how to talk to the rocks, the plants. All of these are capable of mind speak. my people go out there hugging trees. They're doing energy transference with the
I
trees
do
where
all
they pull
that.
the tree energy and they push theirs on it. I mean, trees
I
are
don't know if
very
I'm doing
vocal.
it correctly, but yeah, nope. I talk to him. I say hello. I hug him. If I walk by with my son, we get that close. He makes fun of me, and I'm like, "It's a thing. We're doing this." But
Yeah.
no, I have never admitted it. Like I follow some people that claim they communicate with animals or their
Mhm.
pets or
I
things like
do.
that. But I have never disbelieved. But my own pets, I don't feel like I've ever gotten that from them. But for whatever reason, plants, but mainly trees, they get to me. And
All animals are telepathic. All trees are telepathic. The only thing on this planet that is not telepathic is us, and we actually are. We just have been led to believe by the powers that be that we are not. And as soon as your frequency is high enough, you are automatically tapped into it and you go through the collective consciousness. You just have to know how to do it. Biggest problem with people with telepathy, they are getting it, but they don't realize they're getting it because they're expecting this big booming voice like God's talking to them. And sometimes you can get that, but it also comes in a million different ways. And so, yeah, everything is telepathic. It all goes through the collective consciousness and not the third D brain, because the third D brain is incapable of it.
yeah, I don't know if I got that big booming, like whatever God is supposed to sound like voice. I think I'd be upset. I'd be like, "What the heck is that? Like, tone that
Now,
down."
wait till you get a Sasquatch that is not going to stop until you listen to them and they yell into your head and you feel like your head's going to explode. But there are so many ways to get it, just a magnitude of ways.
I
But
like it.
everything
I'll keep that
hooked
in
through the
mind.
collective.
I like it. I think it works for me. Totally works for me.
I was
As-
speaking telepathically before I could talk, so I just I'm just used to it.
I love it. I love it.
I
Robin
think
Haynes is here with the
mine
Q&A.
goes
We
back.
got Nicole Sakach here as well. Nicole, continue.
I think mine goes back to childhood. I think that's that, like, you don't know to question it when you're that young, and it is just a part of you. But I think I grew out of it hardcore, and then it came back in puberty, but I was still like denying it, you know, that sort of stuff. I float around with it now, just like contact modalities or all of this.
Yeah, I was lucky. I don't know any different. Like by the time I was 3 and 4, the Sasquatch had been already talking to me, and they were looking in the windows of the house, or if I went outside, they would show up. I mean, I even had people I went to school with that I showed them the Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I don't know any different. It's my normal. I have a very different normal than most people.
Right. And I know I had more moments like that when I was younger, where it was perceived differently by adults later in life. Like I know my sister hates it when I talk about this, but her and my cousin would, like, the three of us were thick as thieves. Well, my sister hates it when my cousin and I talk about her imaginary friend, because my sister's imaginary friend was very real. Like, we thought this was a real girl, a real person. Like, I saw her, other people saw her, and nope, she was totally made up imaginary friend. This girl did not exist. So I don't know. There's moments like that. And of course all the high strangeness just always goes back to what you think you remember, and then you remember more and you're like, "Oh wow, wait, with that was that memory." So I don't know. It's always
I
out
get
of
very
kind of
nervous.
context.
I get nervous without the high strangeness. Like everybody else would be like, "Oh wow," I would be, that would make me more relaxed. No, I get really antsy and really nervous when there's no weirdness going on because I'm so used to it.
Right. I think over the last 6, 7 years, which I don't like saying I dabbled in any of this, but since I reintroduced myself to a lot of exploring the phenomenon from this angle instead of just a nuts and bolts or historical document angle, then yeah, I will say I still don't know if it's like me like tricking myself, like drinking my own Kool-Aid, or if things are actually just coming back to me because they fit, just things feel really familiar. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. For me, everything that I know I got from them, whether it was angels, aliens, cryptids, elementals, dimensionals, whatever. I never read any of the books on it, never read any of the historical documents, really. Those are all written with the third dimensional mind, and all of this stuff is in a higher frequency, in a higher dimension. And so for me, it wasn't that I set out to not read these things. I was always just directed by the things that were teaching me all these things a different way.
Right.
Claim I'm right all the time? Absolutely not. There's no experts in this. I don't care who they are. Anybody can get it wrong. And I don't believe, I will never believe that there are any experts, because none of these things are going to tell us everything. If they gave us every information that they have, it puts them at risk, because our people are the worst. And it doesn't matter if it's cryptids, angels, aliens, whatever. I've had an extensive situations with aliens, and I've got photos and everything else, but there's good and bad in everything. You're not going to find everything is all bad or all good. I think primarily most of this stuff is good, but the worst problem is that the stuff that is bad, because of the abilities and the powers that they have, are lethal. But there is more good. I would say there's 85% good, 85 to 90, and the same thing with the aliens. If you listen or follow Dr. Stephen Greer, he thinks all of them are good. I have the utmost respect for him. I love the knowledge that he has, but I've been attacked by a few of the bad ones. So I know for a fact that they're not all 100% good. Are there more good than bad? Absolutely. And right now, we need to be thanking our stars that the good ones are here on the planet, because we need their backup, because we've really screwed things over. So, for that, there's gratitude towards them, because they're going to help reshape things in a much better position for us. Do I believe in any of this fake invasion with them? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They could have done that a long time ago.
Oh my God.
But if they wanted to, they could have done that so much easier. But as far as like the cryptids and that, I learned all this stuff from them. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's where my background came from. But they started when I was really, really young.
I sent Dave a new cryptid today too, it was turned into a joke around Chicago, so much so that they even made a commercial about it, like I think it was the early 90s. Eagle Man. Eagle Man was terrifying the Chicagoland area and laying giant eggs.
There's so many cryptids, though, that we have no idea.
I've never heard of the Eagle Man before.
I've never heard of it. But there's so many cryptids out there, and we don't have names for all of them. Some are government created, and they get cut loose. Some are created by aliens. Some of them are naturally born here. We don't have a name for all of them. The Sasquatch have a blanket term for them called the Micaiah, and that term means thee that walks the earth that has no name. So we do have the cryptids that we have names for. Also have some we have no idea what to call them.
I don't like insulting Native American because I don't get their terminology correct often. So I hate being insulting, but there are these tribes throughout the Mississippian Valley that had the Thunderbird outfits. Like they would wear the giant birds and the head, and they would dance. And yeah, the myth of the Thunderbird is huge all through here. So that was kind of where I jumped with like Eagle Man. I'm like, is that some sort of modern interpretation of like the Thunderbird? But I don't know. I still have to dig on this Eagle
The
Man because it
Sasquatch are
was
very
even
much
turned into
aware.
a joke.
The
Yeah.
Sasquatch are very much aware of the Thunderbirds. They used to draw me pictures of them on this it was a telephone or electrical pole, wooden pole that was on my property, and they drew the Thunderbird on there several times for me. And when I did some work for them, because I do get sent out by the Sasquatch to certain areas for various things, whether it's blessing graves, changing the energy in the land, or doing whatever it is they need me to do, they had sent me to Tennessee, and the area that they sent me to, there was this huge, massive boulder, and there was on there pictures of what the government had done to their area, but there were also pictures of the Thunderbird on there. So they're very much aware of Thunderbirds. In their culture, they are absolutely real.
I like that.
I'd love
Yeah.
to see. I really would love to see one.
Yeah, I don't know what it was that I saw. I'm not going to say it was a Thunderbird. I've seen this twice now in two different places, once in Pennsylvania and once in Michigan. They always say that the pterodactyls aren't dead. I don't know what this thing was, but it was massive. This was not an eagle. This was not a bird that any of us are normally. This thing was like the size of a small plate. Like, it was enormous. I don't know what it was,
Right.
but it was flying in the air. My kids were with me at the same time. They couldn't believe it. They're like staring at it going like, Mom, what is that? Just massive.
Yeah. I had a sighting like that. I think I was in my late 20s, and it was we call it the River Road, and it kind of has this lore going back all along, around the Mississippi River, around this area. But this thing was so huge, it was casting a shadow on us. And when we looked up to see what it was, like, we were expecting eagles because there are eagles in this area. But this thing was just massive. And I mean, you know when you see the bald eagles because their heads catch the light, and it's that obvious contrast between their white head and their dark bodies. And you can usually see if they've grabbed something. You can see their talons, like things like that. But this thing was gliding, and then even how eagles do it when they go into like they're gonna dive mode, they almost like streamline their feathers. This thing went streamlined and like shot away so fast, and we were all stunned. Like, what was that? It was huge, way bigger than an eagle. We have eagle cameras around here. Like, we love watching eagles. And
the Sasquatch
this
talk
thing was
about the
huge.
Thunderbird.
I like the lore and the mystery around Thunderbirds, and I don't know.
Yeah.
There's stuff about driving snakes, and I'm like, where'd they drive them to? On that side of the Mississippi? Which side do I live on? What's going on? Where's the snakes? Ohio, Snake Mountain. That's what I was thinking of. They have that big park there.
We got about 3.5 minutes to go before we have to call it the night with Robin and Nicole. Getting back to the whole transformation of things where the gifting site is being under attack by a squirrel. It's under attack now. Like, if I'm putting more stuff out there this next weekend, Robin, and if it steals it, this is war. This is war. And
Do you know what I used to do? Because the raccoons used to come in and the possums would get the food. I had a milk crate, and I would put a plate of snacks or whatever I wanted under an upside down milk crate, and I would put concrete cinder blocks on top of the milk crate. And I would go out there because they can't take a plate out even through the handles. I would go out there the next day and you could see where the milk crate and the cinder blocks were lifted straight up. The plate and everything in there was gone and then sat back down almost in the exact same spot. Because I would have like sand or something on the bottom. Because they'd steal everything. And it's like, how can you be sure?
Well, one thing that I will say is the squirrels will not be able to lift up the peanut butter jar that is out there. Nicole, I stole your peanut butter jar. You have no peanut butter at night anymore. I've stolen it. And we have placed it out on a stump that's about 7-8 feet tall. And we've got a trail camera set up there. And we're going to be able to see if we can lure them in to take that. It's we put it about 60 feet away from the knocking tree and about 30 feet away from where the droppings were last year.
We'll see if they'll do it with the camera on them. They used to take brush, like piles and piles of brush, and put it on top of my cameras. For all the time I tried the tree cams, and people used to mail me tree cameras and say, oh, here, use this, use this. This one wonderful, wonderful person made this beautiful, elaborate birdhouse, and the tree camera could fit inside of it. And they took off with the birdhouse. You never got anything on camera, and they would bury it with brush. Out of all of it, I got one picture, and it was the side breast of a female and a thumb. But they would never, I mean, they could elude those cameras. They can remove themselves from the footage in the cameras. I'd go out there and everything would be gone, and yet nothing would show up on the camera. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like a bracelet.
Dave,
Yeah.
Honestly, I think like how Brandon Fugel makes everybody or suggests that everybody gets right with their self and God and maybe say a prayer before they enter Skinwalker Ranch. Like, I think you need to heed warnings like that, because like if you're gonna start a war with a squirrel, like this is serious. Squirrel, if it's really a squirrel, like
Squirrel wars.
They do war, Dave. Like they
I
war.
know.
Like
I know.
There are three factions. There are three factions of squirrels in my hometown. We've got the gray ones, we've got the brown and red ones, and we have black squirrels.
Oh, the black ones are
those three groups. They just.
And on that note,
they are. They look like little kittens.
we say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thaw. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching.
We own the night.
Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody.
Great to meet you, Nicole.
Nice to finally meet you too, Robin. I feel like we're old pals.
Yeah.
I've been like behind the scenes and watching you for so long. And I'm like,
yeah, stay in touch.
I did give you credit a few weeks ago in the audience that you reignited my love of Bigfoot. Because I
Oh
blew
my,
Bigfoot
thank
off
you.
for a long, long, long time. I had
thank
one
you.
Bigfoot hunting experience that I peed my pants and got so scared I ran away. And then yes, you've reintroduced me to that old love of Bigfoot.
Well, that means a lot. Thank you so much.
Well,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it. We'll stay in touch.
Love
Dave's
that
got
you
my
do what
number.
you do.
Yeah.
Anytime. Yep. I was gonna have him ask you about the sidewalk talk, and he made me stay. So I'm glad I did.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did.
Sweet.
The more the better.
That
Dave,
guy.
are you on Walter now?
Yes, Walter M. Sterling coming on up on WABC in a couple of minutes. So we do have to kind of cut it short tonight. However, tomorrow night on the show, Olaf Phillips will be here. The darker side of ufology, the games that are being played, and how NASA is a bunch of wing nuts. I only say that because Nicole's like a fan. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wave your NASA flag, Nicole.
I love NASA.
Hey,
I love NASA.
Quickly here, you can now go on the Spaced Out Radio store on our website and pick up your new SOR Squirrel t-shirt. It is up and running. Got the Spaced Out Radio hat on, and you can do that. We'd appreciate that. And I think that's about it for tonight.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.
We'll see you next week, Robin, Nicole, you and I. She'll chat soon. Thank you to T-Bone for a hat trick and giving away a membership to our YouTube side. We love you, T-Bone. Thank you very much for your love and support of SOR. That's us. That's us, man. And Pam Harris as well, Shogun as well, and Dutch Hank with a super Dutch chat.
Take care, everybody.
You know it's good when that happens. But thank you, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow, okay? Olaf Phillips. See you then.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.